Good evening. Welcome to a scene for the Living World of Darkness. Please ignore this picture. I didn't realize I wasn't on the right one. Um, this is going to be a scene for the Mage venue, Mage from the Ashes. And I guess we're going to start this probably maybe just outside the temple because she is through the portal in oh god, I keep thinking I can never remember the name of that realm, but whatever that realm is, the ah, not just the temple. It's called something else. It's a special kind of realm. But anyway,
A Horizon realm.
Horizon. That's the word. And yeah, she is actually standing out there, kind of concentrating, her eyes closed, and with with just focusing on the air currents around her because that's why she had come here. She wants to test out an effect. So she is going to focus pretty hard, and she has this feather in her hand. And she's going to take a deep breath and actually draw this feather across her eyes. And yeah, I'll go ahead and roll that just to see if it actually takes off. Probably should pick the right dice roller and maybe find the right picture in a minute. This hasn't been started, but I'm just gonna go ahead and start it, I guess. Okay, there's that. And it's the first time I'm doing it, so like diff 7, and it's a botch, so yay! What happens when I botch?
You botched a magical effect.
Yeah, it's just a level 1.
Paradox.
But that's fine. I'll take it. Then don't we have to roll backlash or some crap too?
Was it a
I
vulgar
do.
effect or
No, it was not.
Okay.
So I guess it's fine.
I mean, not within a city. Just yeah, I think just bank a point of paradox.
I will do that. That's fine. I just know I had to roll backlash the other day, and she botched. It was great.
Wait, what level was it?
Hmm?
What
The
were you
effect
doing?
then?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I did a couple.
No, just the one you did now.
Oh, well, she was trying to be able to see air currents.
No,
She
it's
was invoking
difficult.
air.
4, so you're not, you didn't budge.
No, but to practice it was my first time doing it. Diff 7 probably, right?
Oh, I don't know. Okay, yeah, I don't know, but yeah, whatever.
I thought that's what it was because it was the first time doing it.
I have no
She's
idea.
just gonna kind of flinch and decide to try it again later. And kind of stand there for a second, just kind of like not quite sure what to do. As she just tries to relax because that sucked. Can you actually feel paradox?
Don't think so. I think it might like increase your resonance or something, but
That doesn't really work yet.
I don't
Because
think
if that's okay, if that's the case, then she might just wait a few minutes and try again. So we'll say she's in between tries, as she's just sort of leaning, like I said, just outside the door of the temple and kind of relaxing, trying to get her concentration to work properly. One of you guys can do something while she's sort of chilling for a minute.
Yeah, I rolled. It's a success. Julie is working a bit easier at the moment. She's seems to be a lot more honed into what she's doing.
across the plateau, the misty portal in the cave, Nausicaa steps out of it, not wearing a coat and stuff this time. But yeah, basically just steps out and looks around, and yeah, begins walking. Up the path towards the temple, and she sees. I guess she sees Grace first. If Julie's in the little library.
Yes.
Yeah, she's still just kind of leaning there in a bit of a slump. Like, I get so, that look on her face, like, I get so tired of when things don't work. When I know they should work, that sort of little bit of frustration on her face. But she'll kind of wave as you're coming closer anyway, because she's not going to, like, not acknowledge you.
Nausicaa doesn't wave. But yeah, she kind of looks at Grace, nods, and yeah, walks over and just kind of stands there. What are you doing?
something that didn't work. And she'll kind of wave it's in her right hand, the feather is, and she kind of waves it around, kind of as if a little annoyed with the feather.
What were you trying to do then?
See air currents.
Interesting.
Apparently, it's not meant to be. I will try again later.
Sure.
Is it? What's interesting about it? I see you do all kinds of things that are very weird or different or things that shouldn't be happening, but yet they do.
And yet they do.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm beginning to find it more interesting how the rest of you connect with various sympathetic powers. I presume the link between the feather and seeing air currents is it comes from a
Evident.
bird, and birds have a cultural and obviously literal link to the sky.
I was invoking air. At least I was trying to invoke air. It did not work very well. But yes, you're right. It has to do with birds. And they're pretty much very much an air sort of symbol because they fly.
That's good, just nods. Any of the others out here?
Jolie's usually in the library. I haven't seen her yet. I was trying to work on my thing.
The others are out of the chantry, but we should talk. Something's happened.
Okay. Yeah, I can try this later. As she sort of picks up her bag that's probably sitting next to her and tucks the feather into it before putting it over her shoulder. I suppose we can see if she's in there. I mean, that's where she normally is anyway.
Okay, 1 second. I'm going to do something. Yep, no, I believe I need an extra success. I'm also going to pause this for a moment. And, yep, there we are. Let's go pause this for a moment, and you see her, she puts on some gloves that were literally just like in her pocket, and a pair of glasses, and you see her just literally kind of like stand there for a moment. Her hands flicker around. Yeah, she's there.
I could have checked that too, but it's cool. Like, we're 3 feet from there. I was just thinking, let's do the normal thing and walk in.
We would have been wasting energy if she wasn't there.
It's just a little bit of walking.
Since you're close, you can already hear some sort of chanting music is coming from like a speaker of some kind. It's a chant in Sanskrit, but I don't know if any of you know what that means, the words, but...
Nope.
Yeah, there is this thing just emanating throughout it. And inside the library, true enough, Julie sits, and she is scribing a very old book. Does not seem to be the first or the last one. Well, she's actually getting closer to it, but both think that she should have been done by now, because it does seem to go rather quickly, honestly, with Julie, but who knows?
You heard Nausicaa and I guess as well Grace walk in. Julie?
Huh? Oh, and she turns down the music. Hi, hi guys. What's up?
We need to talk.
Uh-oh. That's probably not a good thing.
It is not a good thing in this case, although normally talking doesn't necessarily imply the negative.
I know. It's just, lately, it's been we're due for a rebound in good news, I would say.
Really?
I mean, with all of the bad news that we've been having, like,
Well, Boris is back. Is that good news?
I suppose it is. I did hear. I haven't seen him, but I think I heard. Well, it is good news.
I was going to say, I thought it was good news.
Depends on how pissed he is.
Not at us.
Well, on the issue of the clones, I believe one of them has been killed.
Julie just pauses.
Slow head turn. There's focus now.
I have been observing the clones while they were staying in my Manhattan apartment, and although I didn't hear it, I heard a conversation with Ava afterwards that one of them left, and the police shot and killed them. And there have been news reports of Ava being dead.
Well, that's. You know that Ava's alright.
Ava is okay, I believe.
You believe?
Well,
I mean, that's the first thing to be sure of, I think.
Okay, I will rephrase it. I'm sure Ava's okay.
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 However, the clone is not. And by okay, I'm sure Ava is feeling certain emotional responses. I believe she will be feeling guilty, traumatized.
You can be sure of that.
Also, there is a further issue. They were staying in my apartment that is under the name of Anna Komnina, the alter ego I have crafted over the last months. If the police or the technocracy finds us out, then it would likely lead to this alter ego. The alter ego that your business loan is given under, Grace, that Elijah's and Caleb's are, that Iliad Capital Management is funded under. Basically, there's likely it could lead back to me. And unfortunately, through me, to perhaps the rest of you.
All right. Well, the first thing is to get that other clone out of your apartment and someplace under a different name.
I agree.
That would be priority one.
Yeah. Priority two, if there's a potential that you're being compromised. Probably should have done this before, but maybe we should begin to. Well, when we have access to this kind of cash, maybe we should have some real hard currency, at hand. If all of it's tied up in a bank, then it's going to be harder for us to, like, just having it hidden somewhere and just have.
Very little of my money is in a bank.
I know. I'm thinking of, like, if it's just to make sure that we're not completely empty-handed if this gets found out. That's.
Oh, I mean, I'm not. I can still access. I've actually moved the bulk of my money from the money that I had saved up from before. I mean, I have some money, enough that it would be okay for the moment. And if worse comes to worse and it gets connected to Anna Komnena, if I'm saying probably wrong and I apologize.
It was accurate.
Okay. Then it gets connected to Sophia, but the simple fact is a business loan I don't think is going to be enough. to really get me in trouble, I don't think.
It's not about
Unless
getting you in
the money
trouble.
gets frozen. Yeah, the money could get frozen.
The Technocratic Union don't need a reason to kick down our door. They've shown that already. The link exists, and they may find it through us.
Well, then I'm gonna say maybe we should attempt some cleanup. Although I'm not really good in that area.
I believe we should try some cleanup. We need to talk to Ava. I need to know exactly if there is potential that she is compromised.
Right.
Ava's been the most compromised of us all, though.
This is true. Ava
Um,
sees the world with a level of naivety. She
well,
believes in
then
the intrinsic goodness of people, and although I respect that, I believe it to be wrong.
There's some heavy shit. So,
be careful with her on the subject of the clones. She and Boris got into it over them. That's why they were staying there in the first place.
Yeah.
Julie just looks distraught, a little distraught, as she just. So, you're going to do something right now, or she begins to fish up a joint and begins to light up.
Grace looks a little bit weird at that because you're surrounded by books and about to smoke.
She's standing up at this point, walking over to you, a little bit away from him.
Okay, I mean, it's a little better.
We need to find Ava and talk to her.
Right. Do you need my help or something?
I think that would be. I think us all working together on this would be the most optimum.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure.
She was not in a very good place last night.
No. Maybe she is suffering some kind of trauma.
Well,
I believe many of us are, though. James, I believe, is also. The other day, he asked me how I deal with everything we've been through. He was very melancholy about the subject.
Julie just kind of just holds up the joint and just waves it a little and just takes a long drag and just says, "Hey, it works."
Although I don't particularly approve of that method, it is certainly better than wallowing. It's very unproductive, and I told him such.
Oh yeah, like I'm totally like super productive and stuff. Julius is just seems to get a little lost as she's. By the way, I don't know if Grace has seen her smoke before. She is smoking this thing really fucking fast, and she doesn't seem to be really like visibly affected by it, but she does seem to calm down, just like mellow out a little bit. But she does seem to be like fairly unaffected. Well, she's not like she collapses or anything. She just finishes it and just makes sure it's out. She just says, "Okay, so where we're going is like, do you have a lead, or are we going to? But need me to? Fuck, we need a new van as well. Shit.
I will buy one.
Oh, cool.
However, at this point, buying it, if I give you cash to buy it under one of your names, that may be perhaps safer.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. By the way, did you find her bag? You know, with the book and that stuff? Because like,
She has it back.
oh,
Answered is
okay,
clearly
okay,
kind of
that's
avoiding the
cool.
question slightly.
Okay, that's cool.
And she'll kind of look at Julie and be like, "Do you have like a driver's license? 'Cause that's helpful when buying a car."
Oh yeah, totally. She fishes up her driver's license.
Okay, yeah, I mean, then I don't care. cash is as good as anything else. It's not the most shocking thing when it comes to a car.
Well, it depends on the kind of car, but like,
I've
uh,
seen my grandfather do it before.
like,
He
are we
just
going to
walked
get
in
it
there.
now? Or what?
No, I don't think it has to be right this minute, but
Oh, okay, fair enough.
today, tomorrow, something.
Oh, okay.
There are also other issues. Security has been a constant thorn in our side, and I do believe that I have several ways to provide encryption and warding so that we may be less easily tracked. However, to do such things, I need raw magical energy called quintessence. And she just looks at the other two to see if they comprehend.
Grace has certainly heard the word before. Because she's also been reading up on mage things in the library, so she knows what it is, but she's just kind of like, how do I know if I have it?
I don't know. A feeling of empowerment, from what I understand.
Sounds like therapy. That's the kind of thing I try to do through therapy.
No, I believe in this case more literally.
Yeah, because she's just like, okay. Literally?
That is literal magic energy. You can use it to empower your spells and effects and procedures. And in this case, to make something permanent, such as a ward, it is what we would need. I wish to ward our cell phones against tracking, and also a new van, so that if we go out on some kind of operation out in the city, we cannot be easily tracked and followed.
So what would priority be? The phones, or I'd say probably the phones because we use it more.
I agree. Also, I have found it to be, with the certain expertise, extraordinarily easy to listen in to cellular devices. I think it would be a tool that the Technocratic Union could also use against us.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. I assume you mean like the phone that we use with each other.
Yes. And if we keep all things that do not violate the rule of shade on those phones, I think we should.
But you need the quintessence to do this, so
I do.
we're not going to, like, I think you said something about the thing in the water in the harbor had quintessence, but we're not going there again. So what do we do? How do we do the thing with getting it?
Well, several of the others have said that, and she nods over to the stream, that the river over there seems to have magical energy flowing through it.
Really? So cool. And just like she
I
kind of lights up and just like it begins to go over and just examine the stream.
we were actually kind of worried about the effects it might have on a person. I know that Ava drank some yesterday, but also Paris drank some the other day, and I looked him over, and he seemed to be fine.
In what
So
manner did you look him over?
it was more checking his heartbeat to see if it was steady and if he was healthy. Life stuff. I heard I can
Did
hear
you
and
check
feel his
him?
heartbeat.
Did you check him to see if his system was storing any magical energy?
I did not know. I
That would
just
seem the
looked at his
obvious.
life. Well, I didn't know to look for that. We just wanted to know if he was like drinking it was going to have an ill effect.
This is, from
The
what I
other.
understand, a horizon realm that was perhaps created by Lee or other members of his order. I very much doubt that there is. I very much doubt that there are aggressive elements here, or like Elijah Fair's bacteria. This is ultimately a created place.
Fair. It was a concern that came up. I was just letting you know the results of what I could see.
Well, you
But
said
it wasn't
up
so
at
much
Rankin.
see. Yes, she did. She did drink it yesterday.
I'm up with the results of that.
Oh, I didn't look at any of that. She just drank some. I didn't really. Sorry, there was a lot going on at the time. It wasn't really an experiment as much as something that she did. And there was there were circumstances at the time.
I understand.
Yeah. Um Boris may have decided to walk in and decide to heal his, well, regrow his arm.
He had lost an arm. When?
He had lost an arm.
When and how?
Well, if you didn't notice, when we came back, he wasn't here.
I
So,
noticed that, yes.
right. So, apparently, what he did was he was pissed at what happened to Misha, and he apparently went out and killed about 40 technocratic agents at a different place than the one we went to. He says that Project Valkyrie is dead, and he lost an arm in the process and nearly died. There was a really terrible, it looked like some sort of metal tapeworm that was around his heart. That Mary, the verbena, she kind of showed up with him, and she took care of fixing that, if you know what I mean. I helped, but she did all the work.
Interesting.
Man, this is getting fucking serious. Getting worse and worse, but like, just
It is, but he's okay now. I mean, physically
no, but like,
okay.
none of us, are like, there isn't even like a police officer among us. Like, there's none. Like, we're none of us
Do,
are ready for all this shit.
do
And
we need a cop for something?
well, someone who knows like his way around a combat or her way, I guess. Like a guy who knows his way around rifles, knows how to act or do in combat would be fairly handy at this point, honestly.
Okay, that's fair. So we just have to work. We have to think like us and work around that until someone can
other
get good.
Becoming more competent in these situations is, although I find it slightly distasteful and brutish, is perhaps an important thing. I have floated the idea with James of him starting some kind of training area out here. We
It's a
could
good
have
idea.
a shooting range fairly effectively.
I agree. That needs to happen.
Also, there's another thing. Caleb left to join the Euthanatoi and has not returned for over 2 weeks now. And Nausicaa looks at Julie to see her reaction.
Well, shit. The Euthanatos, that's like the death guys, right?
For lack of a better term, yes. They style themselves as Fate's assassins.
Doesn't make any sense. Well,
We're just gonna have to hope for the best. There's nothing else to do, I guess, right?
There is something else to do. He held a position in our group of Aegis, and if he is not back, we may need to fill that position.
What did they do exactly?
They were in charge of defending the Chantry.
Ah,
Julie puts a finger on her nose. As in, not it.
Grace just holds up her left hand in the not quite closed position, which is the closest it can get to being closed, and be like, and just kind of look at it.
I do not believe that the defender of the Chantry need necessarily be an expert in combat. However, I do believe that certain precautions, things like the wardings and other safeguards, should be taken. If he does not return, I will put myself forward for it.
Someone has to, and even if it gets messed up somehow, we gotta at least try. If you need
Agree.
help, I will happily help. I
Thank you.
hate using guns, but the simple fact is sometimes we have to. We have to defend ourselves.
I don't like using guns either, but I think I would prefer to die. I think I would prefer not to die more.
Exactly. Why do you think? Why do you? And she just kind of starts talking and then sort of stops.
And
There's
also, he kind of cocks her head and looks at Grace expectantly.
I don't like doing what I did the other day. But I also don't like dying.
If I remember correctly, what you did the other day was when I was shot, you pulled me into cover. I never actually said thank you for that, and I should. I believe you quite directly saved my life. And the rest of you indirectly saved my life. But that was a more literal act.
Yours just kind of looks to the side. You know, her eyes sort of avert.
Does that make you uncomfortable?
Not exactly. I wasn't referring to that.
I know, you killed a person.
And she kind of pulls her jacket a little tighter around her and just nods.
If it is any consolation, many of the traditions believe in reincarnation. The Euthanatoi and the Akashics, from what I understand. Their beliefs mirror the cultures that they are associated with.
I don't have anything against the idea of reincarnation. I just don't know what happens after death. I don't think I'll be joining either of those.
Like, still a little miffed about all this, like, tradition groups and shit. Like, still a little, not that I'm averted to cults, really, but still a little cultish. But
Perhaps.
If it's not your
However,
thing, then don't.
being a member of the Medics has proved very beneficial so far. They're training me in things that I do not believe I would have been able to understand otherwise, at least certainly not as quickly as I have grasped. And being an apprentice means that my master, my pate, he's been very helpful in other matters.
all of these fruity names and like apprentices. It's like the Star Trek, the ones with the Jedi.
Star Wars.
Yeah, that's
She actually sounds a slightly annoyed when she says it like just like that. Padawan.
yeah. Like, I don't know, I mean, I like Lee, but like, I suppose I'm his student as well. But like,
Have you been inducted into the Akashics? Formally?
uh, I don't know.
If you don't know, then I likely imagine the answer is no.
Oh, okay.
I
Julie
think I think the issue is that if you want to learn, then you have to go through them. They have accumulated knowledge from hundreds, if not thousands, of years.
That isn't really along the lines I'm thinking as to why I would.
No? Then why?
I mean, the learning's good, certainly, but I find it very strange. I've only been here like a month and a half. I've killed a person. I nearly died myself. How many times? At least 3 or 4 times over the last month and a half. 3. Probably 3. It depends on how many. Anyway. And the weirdest part is that I kind of feel some kind of a. I think I don't focus on logic as much as I do on beliefs and feeling.
I disagree. I think there is a logic to what you do, like with the feather. This was not randomly chosen. It is chosen for the logical reason of an association with birds of air. It is certainly different, but there is certainly, I believe there is certainly a logical basis to many of your beliefs.
I'm not saying I have no logic. I do have logic, but I think, I mean, I'm honestly leaning towards a group that I feel a little bit of a bond with. And it just feels right. And maybe could potentially be based on shared beliefs, in which case that would be a kind of a logic. But that isn't how I'm thinking about it right now.
Like, why is it that, like, almost every time we get to talking for, like, a bit longer, it always goes to these really philosophical things? I mean, I suppose it makes sense, but didn't we have, like, a couple of things to do? Or is it just me?
There are
I don't
always
know.
things to do. But these are important decisions we're talking about here.
Right, yeah. Right, important decisions. Oh, right, about what cult tradition to get into. Right.
I don't see it as a cult. I think it's just a grouping of people who have similar beliefs. It's more like a religion.
Julie chews on that for a moment. She says, "I suppose it makes sense. It's just, I don't know. From what I understand, it's such a personal thing." And Julie, at this point, begins to pick up the second joint from somewhere in her coat. And as she's beginning to light it, she says, "Well, the way I see it, it's. I mean, it doesn't make too much sense to discuss it with people since it is so extremely personal."
I
I mean,
find
of
it easy
course, you
to
could
hear these
fix.
things out loud. If I can say something out loud, I can tell if it sounds dumb.
Well, I don't know. She takes a drag from a joint and she just takes it over to Grace. She want to hit?
She kind of looks at it a second, shrugs. She'll take a hit. Had to hold it in for a couple of minutes before exhaling. Not a couple of minutes, 30 seconds or whatever. That would have been a long ass hit.
Yeah. She suffocated.
Yeah, as I suffocate and die. And then she'll offer it back. She's guessing that Nausicaa's not interested.
As Julie gets it, she just begins to smile as her eyes just go over to Nausicaa. She's holding it out. She's not offering it to her, and she just So, Nausicaa, do you want to? No, never mind. Never mind.
Yeah, Nausicaa looks at it and then just looks at Julie.
There's this wide grin on her face as she just begins to pass, like just move the joint towards her very slowly.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
Well, okay. Okay. I know. It's fine.
If you would like to give it to me, then I'll take it.
Yeah, but you're just gonna stomp it out, and that's
Correct.
Wasteful.
Okay,
I'm
well,
quite certain that you would actually enjoy stuff like this, but that's fine.
You have said this on many occasions.
I wouldn't do it all the time, but why not right now? I'm contemplative.
Some say it changes, gives you a new perspective on things.
I
Some
don't need new
people
perspective.
some people it helps them think creatively, think of new solutions to old problems that they can't get around elsewhere, and then, well, that's what I heard.
I've heard this also. In the 60s, many physicists took LSD to try and help them with understanding advanced mathematical riddles, formulas.
Yep. Biologists, chemists, quite a few of them, yeah. But yeah, that's true.
And yet it remains each person's choice if they do or don't.
I'm totally, yeah. Yep.
Anyway,
So, yeah, like, I know about you guys, but I'm gonna go make some food. Any guy you want some?
No, I'm alright for now. However, I would like it if you had a drink. And Nausicaa nods towards the river.
She just looks. Didn't we just discuss how that might potentially be dangerous?
it doesn't appear that it's dangerous. What we're trying to find out is if it actually might give us quintessence. And if she won't, I will. As she looks at Nausicaa.
Well, shouldn't we go and, like, if it's in the spirit of being scientific and shit, right? Should we try like different trials? Like, Nausicaa doesn't get anywhere near it. One of us drinks from it, and one of us, I don't know,
Swims in it?
swims, bathes, like, doesn't drink anything, but just, like, has most of their body just washed with it for, like, I don't know, what, a minute?
Don't know, but I call drinking. I'm not getting in there. It's too cold.
Or was. And Julie just wanders over to the water, and Julie will get into the water. I don't know if she undresses before. Probably not.
You probably should decide that. That's important, actually. Grace just kind of watches as she walks over and then glances to Nausicaa like, what are we doing here?
I'm just gonna roll for it. Fuck it.
What, is she getting undressed?
He's deciding.
Going for a bath, right? A 1. Yeah, she is. Julie will go for a swim, and she'll probably, she'll take, she'll probably strip down to her underwear or something, and she will just, I don't know if Julie really uses that, being the hippie that she is.
I mean, honestly, it's not that big of a thing. If you're careful,
like, the thing is, it's how sloppy and how, like, all right, just, like, Julie seems to be running a bit on autopilot at the moment, like, for obvious reasons, and she's not, like,
Your call.
Her pants, like, she gets into the water and just like gets out again and then removes her pants because she forgot to take them off and just doesn't seem to really like. Then she just gets down. Then she gets down into the water again.
If she like takes her clothes off, and Nausicaa, like, if it's just like to her underwear, Nausicaa just kind of like turns around, and you can see that her ears are like gone red.
Grace doesn't seem to be even worried about it. Like, if she catches what's happening and just kind of goes with the flow. Especially considering one of her tools. I don't think Grace would be all that worried about nudity. It's a tool she hasn't used yet, but there is a tool that applies here. And but what she will do is as soon as she's, in the water enough that you can't see, she'll kind of nudge Nausicaa and be like, I don't know if you wanted to pay any attention, but you can't see anything anymore.
Oh, it's fine. And Nausicaa will kind of like furtively glance, and then when she sees Julie swimming, she'll just like turn around.
And Grace will walk over and put her hands in the water and, drink some water from her hands. She's not going into the water. That will not be happening.
Nausicaa watches you both. Are you able to use your powers to detect quintessence?
I can see ley lines. I don't know if that's exactly the same thing or not.
Neither do I. I don't know what a ley line is.
It's a line of power. Where they cross, it's especially powerful.
Nausicaa looks no better informed.
She doesn't try to explain any further. At least that's my thought. I haven't actually, kind of. Anyway, she will try it. The heck? So I just realized I have some window up. I didn't realize I did. And I'll go ahead. What is it that she did? Oh yeah, she'll have to rummage in her bag, to get out some rosemary, which she'll kind of rub between her two fingers and then put it on her tongue. That's how it worked the first time anyways. Although, to be honest, it makes more sense to rub it. Well, no, it's an herb, so it's different. So, yeah, that's fine. Put on her tongue, just sort of let it dissolve. And, yeah, I'll go ahead and see if that works any better than my first one did. It's a fail, but at least it's a fail and not a botch.
You could, roll again the second turn.
I can.
Plus one difficulty.
It'll be what, diff 5 then?
Yeah.
Wow. That is truly impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, that is identical.
Identical. Okay, I could try to diff 6. And she just keeps looking for. She started to look frustrated. She's just like, this is not a good day for my magic. And she'll take kind of a deep breath and try to calm herself a little bit before trying. Hey, there we go. 2 successes. We'll have to like blue book and ask questions about what we see, I suppose, unless we know the answers.
I'm pretty sure out of character that at least if you drink it, you get a point of quintessence. I don't know about swimming in it.
Well, she'll look down at herself,
but yeah,
and I'll verify with an ST.
Yep.
Yeah, and she'll look down at herself, to verify to see what she sees. And if there is, she'll just kind of blink because she's probably looks bright. Looks pretty bright at the moment. Although, to be fair, OOC, she was already full of quintessence.
Oh, cool.
Well, because it says, according to the book at least, unless they've changed it, whatever your avatar level is what is the quintessence that you start at.
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah.
And I've never used it, so therefore she has 3. So, in theory, it just, was kind of a waste.
No, you can have above your avatar.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you just cast them more in a turn than your avatar.
Oh, okay, that's cool then. Well, yeah, then she would in theory she looks down at herself and she's would get probably she'd probably see like a certain amount of brightness, I would imagine. Um and she's definitely looking around her at this point, probably looking towards the water and at Julie who's over there. I look bright. I don't know. It's weird that I can see things sometimes and I don't quite know what it exactly means. But I'm learning.
After a couple of minutes, Julie will begin to come out of the water and just, just begin to dry her off. She will take like her clothes and she'll just say, "Well, I suppose we should, I don't know, find some way to measure it or something. I don't know."
I'm gonna see if is Lupu still in scene.
I do not
him.
know.
I don't. Well, it says Duncan's online. Do you know if he's online?
No, he's probably asleep.
Okay, because it says he is. That's why I'm asking. But it often lies.
I don't know. We were drinking earlier, so he might have fallen asleep.
It's totally fine. Whichever. I'll just ask Lupu and he can answer me. But yeah, either way, you can see that because you probably wouldn't realize that she's just been doing magic-y things over here, and she's just kind of looking at you as you're like drying off, putting on clothes. Well, you really don't have anything to dry off with. You probably used your clothes to dry you off, I would imagine.
I'm guessing at this point, like Julie is on the way to getting normally affected by drugs, so she's getting there. She probably forgets to put her clothing on, honestly, or maybe she just puts, or maybe she puts it on wrong, or like
having trouble buttoning things.
Yeah, she puts it like 180 degrees wrong side of both her or most of her clothing. So it's either with the inside out or just wrongly put it, and she just kind of struggles with it a little and just. So did you want some food?
I mean, I guess.
I
haven't really thought about it.
Okay. And yeah, she begins to head off.
Yeah, Grace kind of watches her go, figuring she could catch up to her in a couple minutes. Julie's in her own little world anyway.
Nausicaa just kind of watches them both.
Yeah, Grace is still just kind of standing there. She hasn't really had enough of the weed for it to really affect her. At least not very much. And
one thing I would recommend, Grace. I wouldn't concentrate on the things that you've done or the things that you're going to miss from your old life. I would concentrate on the things you're now able to do and the things that you have done. For example, you are clearly experiencing a level of understandable guilt over the death of the person you killed. She kind of looks at her for a confirmation.
She doesn't really say anything, but you can sort of, see her eyes sort of avert for a second and then back to her. She doesn't really. You could probably take that as a confirmation.
I will concentrate on the fact that you have also saved multiple lives. If this is something that's important to you.
Nausicaa?
Grace?
Yeah, okay, look. I feel guilty. But not guilty enough to not pull you out of the line of fire when you're clearly really hurt.
It was extraordinarily painful and quite shocking, I must admit.
Oh, I know. I know. I nearly died twice just in that gunfight. Boris and Misha saved my ass.
What's going on?
My point is, I'm prioritizing you over anybody who's going to be shooting guns at us. And that doesn't require thinking. It just makes sense. I know you. Not well, but I know you. And we're on the same side.
We are.
I don't run on logic over instinct usually, but that doesn't mean I don't have logic and I don't know how to use it. It is really logical.
I don't think the two are always completely opposed to one another.
They're not necessarily. I'm just saying I might feel guilty or whatever, but it doesn't change anything. I wouldn't change the decision I made.
I'm glad.
It needed to be done. And we were all, not gonna lie, we were all really hurt. If you feel, well, clearly you did feel the need to say thank you, and I will say you're welcome, but it was just the right thing to do.
Also, just kind of nods. Well, I'm gonna go contact Ava, or do my best to. If you would like to be there for the conversation, you can, if you believe that tact is needed. Then that would be helpful.
I do think tact is needed, but I think she maybe doesn't find my tact very appealing. But I'm still willing to be there if I can be helpful.
Let's go nods. And just turns around. Begins walking out of the place.
Yeah. Grace will wait a couple of seconds and then we'll slowly follow after.
And as people leave the temple, I believe this is the moment that the scene will come to an end. Thank you very much, players, for playing and watchers for watching. Good night.